Hallo, ich darf Sie ganz herzlich begrüßen.
Hello and welcome to Stage M on the technical presentation on the Intelligent City Platform, ICP, on the City of the Future. My name is Björn Eils, and today I'd like to welcome Mr. Schülke from Leipzig Business Development and Ms. Sophia Grossfengels, MHP, who is the project manager of MHP on the ICP project. But I'd like to ask the two to briefly introduce themselves. Mr. Schülke, please.
Vorher habe ich mich lange strategisch um die Leipziger
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. For a long time, I've been working on the general utility supply situation in Leipzig, and that's what we also want to talk about. And my name is Sophia Grossfengels. It's my pleasure to introduce the ICP project to you, which I have been responsible for about 10 months. I'm a project manager with an outstanding team of 11 people, and we are continuously further developing the platform at this point. Now, what's ICP? ICP is a digital neutral ecosystem which we offer as a SaaS solution. The purpose is to integrate companies and municipalities to create an added value. ICP, however, not offers a cloud-based platform, but also tools and equipment that help us activate potential in the city. Now, why do we do all of this? Well, the point is that smart and livable cities are becoming an ever-increasing challenge, and especially in the area of climate protection, sustainability, emissions, transportation and logistics. Well, these are challenges which are becoming more and more urgent for cities. And the question is, how can we deal with this? How can we combine and connect data in an intelligent manner? How can we make sure that cities offer and use digital services in an optimum manner while meeting their strategic goals and also their climate protection goals? So we are very much focused on our users and customers, which is, of course, the standard for MHP anyway. And that's exactly what we want to deliver with ICP. On the next slide, we can see what this is actually about and what is our added value. To the right, you can see our ICP platform in a more detailed breakdown. Now, what we do, using this ICP platform, we generate an integration layer, which means the most diverse domains in a city, data and services which are often separated in silos. Now we are able to connect them in an intelligent manner with a uniform access and a horizontal integration layer. The different domains are transportation, mobility, energy, and also logistics. And below all of that, we've got the so-called urban data space. Many cities have already advanced very much in this regard. We don't want to invent anything new. We rather want to help them connect their existing products and services to that platform. And what's the added value of ICP? Well, we go beyond that. We consider this an open platform for local and global knowledge partners operating in these cities. So with this layer, we kind of generate a digital marketplace. And the market agrees with us, because our validation showed that about 80% of the cities surveyed worldwide have confirmed that such an integrated solution is really a useful tool for them to reach their sustainability goals. 70% of the cities would also invest in such a platform on a regular basis. And this idea of an incubator, that's also the one which most of the business partners we talk to also enjoyed very much, because very often their challenge is that they're able to sell and offer one service in an excellent manner, but they are not able to connect it to other further services. And of course, our customers also benefit from the high quality MHP partner network that we provide, and for the municipalities we can contribute to cost savings through the joint back-end for urban services and through the urban data space that we provide. On the next slide you can see the use cases which we are currently working on, and you can also see a couple of functions that we provide. At present, we are working on 3 use cases: charging plus X, parking plus X, and emission-based mobility management. And the curbside management use case is also something that we are currently developing. Now, if you're interested in the use cases charging plus X and parking plus X, well, all those who are on site can visit us in the innovation experience area. Here you can try it out. The front end has been massively improved and set up for the MHP festival on site. Now, 2 more things on the use cases. The charging plus X use case connects the idea of charging at the charging station plus something else, because we not only want to park our car there at the charging station and then charge it there, but we also want to be able to order stuff from a delivery service while we're waiting there, such as ordering food which we receive there, or we also have our laundry being delivered to the charging station while we're waiting there. So is to be enhanced at the specific site. That's what the plus X means. And then for parking plus X, we also offer last mile mobility services. With emission-based mobility management, well, this is where we want to help cities comply with the critical air emission limits. And of course, we not only want to detect and monitor the respective emission levels, but we also want to derive specific action that contribute to these emissions being lowered. So we want to offer the citizens of these cities public transportation tools, and that's something we can do with the ICP and the underlying AI. So we send out messages to users telling them the emission limits have been exceeded, please switch to public transportation, or we offer incentives for parking outside the inner cities where the emission limits are exceeded most often. And with these incentives we prevent people from taking their cars into the inner city area in the first place. In the layer below that, you can see the tools that we're using. So we provide open source data, we also use paid data, and we have teamed up with many partners, amongst others PDV and Bosch, but here we are absolutely agnostic. And to the right, you can see what I already touched upon. We also connect to the existing urban data space with our platform and existing IT systems of the companies that we have teamed up with. So ICP is more than just a dashboard. It's also a control board, and with the special underlying AI, we are also able to generate specific actions for the cities to be taken, which has then also direct impact onto the strategic goals the cities have set for themselves. So there's a direct influence onto the city. And it is pleased that Mr. Schülke has joined us today, who is going to report on his experience, because Leipzig is the first city in Germany which has launched an ICP prototype. And Mr. Schülke, I'm looking forward to your report, and I'm excited to hear how you've been doing with ICP. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for presenting the platform, and you were quite right in describing what we are doing in the cities. We're looking for solutions to protect the environment, and doing so we've got to manage transportation in a different manner. I mean, you cannot have infinitely wide roads, and we should not just come up with prohibitions only. That's why we need intelligent platforms that help avoid unnecessary traffic and direct the necessary one in a reasonable manner through intelligent mobility solutions. Now, our Lord Mayor was visited by the Porsche head of productions last summer, and you will certainly remember that in Leipzig there's the second large Porsche factory manufacturing 550 vehicles per day, and that's why our mayor was more than happy for Leipzig to become one of the pilot cities. And only a few months later, the dashboard, the pilot project was already up and running. And we used the first 2 months to get our partners on board, business development, the construction offices, but also the municipal utility companies. And within another 4 months, MHP then built a prototype. So you can see, of course, urban administration sometimes is a bit slow, but on the other hand, we are thorough. I think that applies to many other big cities and maybe also other companies as well. Well, MHP, on the other hand, they act like a speedboat. They started without any big fuss. We had a major kick-off workshop, but then further development took place in small teams and in sprints. And everybody was always fully up to date, and there was little coordination required. We, as the city, we provided the vision and the concepts, such as the Green City Plan, the charging infrastructure concept, and the mobility strategy. Now, German fellow once said, if you've got a vision, then you've got to see a doctor. However, our doctor was MHP, and together with them, we defined the use cases, some of which Dr. Gross-Fengels already shared with you. Now, let me share a short story with you, a story of Emily. Emily is in her early 30s. She just moved to Leipzig because she heard about the affordable living possibilities there and how great fun you can have going out at night. And she's an IT consultant, and with the environmental bonus, she then purchased an electric car, of course, made in Leipzig. Now, without an ICP platform, how would it look like today? Before going shopping to the supermarket, Emily would want to charge a car. She approaches one of the 300 charging stations of Leipzig utilities, but unfortunately, it's occupied. Well, then the young professional moves on to the next station, and she loses a lot of time. Without really knowing whether she will find an open charging station when she moves on. Now, with ICP, it would look like this. Before taking off, she has a look at the app to check whether their favorite charging station is already occupied. Well, it already is. Now, she might wait 20 minutes and then take off, but she doesn't want to. So she looks for the next open charging station on her way and also reserves it directly via ICP. And thus, without losing time, she takes off to the next free charging station without losing any time and is then happy to reach her destination in good time. But don't worry, we're not just concerned about Emily's comfort. We want to make sure that she does not clog the streets while searching for an open charging station. Now, on the next slide, I once again would like to show you what our further goals are. Now, this Emily example has shown to you how we as a city can enrich the life of our citizens while protecting the environment at the same time by offering digital services. Well, we can do so, and we've got lots of ideas and lots of data. There are other ideas we could conceive. For example, if Emily wants to watch a football match with the local Leipzig football club, then ICP can warn her that many others are also on their way to the arena, which is located very close to downtown. Therefore, ICP recommends her to use the public transportation, and maybe ICP can even offer her the ticket right away. Now, you might say that this sounds like a pie in the sky. Well, you're quite right. The electric Macan is going to be launched in 2023, but the key question is, can we do all of this on our own as the city administration? Well, yes, we could if we were able to invest a lot of time, but there's not much time to counter climate change. exchange, and that's why such a pilot project with MHP is very helpful to demonstrate how it works. And we've got many other ideas, and you probably have them as well, and together with MHP we can switch to the fast lane. Well, thanks Mr. Schülke and thanks Ms. Gross-Fengels for your presentation of the ICP. Now there's one last question I'd like to ask you. We do not have much time for an overall Q&A session. So one quick question only.
Ja, gerne. Vielen Dank, Björn, auf die Endstage nach Ludwigsburg.
And hi to the M stage in Ludwigsburg. Mr. Schülke, there's one thing I'd like to know. From your point of view, what are the success factors for close collaboration with a municipality? Because I think the special setup that you just mentioned, MHP being the speedboat, tackling the municipal challenges on the other hand, now that requires a close collaboration and coordination. And so, from your point of view, what are the success factors? Well, first of all, what's most important is technical know-how, which MHP has got, then additional partners and services, making the platform on the whole attractive. And what's important when you deal with cities is trust. Trust in handling data, because imagine this, in inner cities, we've got a culture of data protection. That's really very important for us. And there's not much distinction being made between personal data and other data. If you have ever met a data protection officer, then you will also know why this is so. So data ownership is a big issue. Now we, as the cities, we like to be confident and independent, and not only being dependent on a single provider and service provider. So we want to have full control over our data. It must not be necessarily our own server, but it must be servers located in Europe. Then compatibility with the urban data platform, which we already have as well. It's a small one, but it's growing gradually and steadily. And data exchange must not be a one-way street. Of course, we also want to learn from you, from other cities, the data that you're integrating there on your platform. That is most important to us. So these are the most important success factors from our point of view. Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Schülke. Unfortunately, I've got to already stop the discussion at this point. Thanks for having joined us today, and thanks for your insights, and thanks to you, Sophia, for your brief introduction on the ICP. And to you, ladies and gentlemen, I say thanks for coming, and thanks for coming to the festival. Enjoy the rest of the day.